Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited, as always. Now, I've got a quick message that I think will really support many of you in the community. And that is, what version of your story no longer serves you? It's no longer who you are any longer, but you keep reliving it, replaying it out. And your habits, your decision making is congruent with something that doesn't fit who you are today. So let me go deep on that, okay? I was thinking about this because a lot of times what we don't recognize is that what we don't step into or what we continue to do is often based on a version of us that no longer fits the version that we see ourselves becoming. So let me go deep on this. Y'all know I'm going to go deep on this one, okay? So I'll give an example. I, for example, work with, incredible women. Y'all are incredible. And a lot of times, let's say I'm working with someone who in her career, she's already hit 6 figures or more in her career. And now she wants to be independent, start her own business, run her own company, and she wants to hit now another 6 figures or more, but in her own business, all right? And she wants to do it in a way that's completely different than the way that she's gotten her corporate salary, right? So corporate salary, she works 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or 7, and someone else controls her schedule and how much she earns, and when she comes to work is, is determined by a role. But now she wants to, in her own business, run a business that does the same or more as what she was doing in corporate, but she wants to control her time. She wants to not have a cap on her income. She wants to be able to do work that fully allows her to feel fully expressed, where she might like what she's doing professionally, but not feel like it's all of her, right? Or there's another version of her that she wants to come forward. And the challenge is, hear me on this. Now listen to this deeply, guys. The challenge is that when you have been living a life that you want change from, you don't always have the habits of mind, the habits, the thinking, all right, that accompanies the new version of what you want. And what does that mean? It means that often, this is what I see in coaching women, the decision making is based on the old version of you, not the new version of what you want to achieve or what you want to accomplish, right? How do I know this? What does it look like? And how can you tell if you're doing this very thing? And I promise you, it happens more unconsciously than we think. It means that, let's say in your career, there's scarcity, right? Like in the role that you have, you're a vice president in the company that you're in, or there's a limited number of people doing what you're doing. So when you apply for that role, you understood that scarcity, express that scarcity is by being twice as good, working twice as hard, trying to prove to every single person that you're the person that should be promoted or you're the person that should be hired. Now, in your own company, you're not in competition with you. You get to stand on all of those years of experience that you have. You get to stand on the impact, the systems of change that you've been able to create, the real leveraged experience that you have, and expertise and knowledge that no one questions in your workplace but you, all right? And what I see is when women start their own businesses, they still have an identity of themselves as that worker, right? That worker that there's a limited number of opportunities, and they approach their decision making from a place of scarcity in their business, meaning they think there's no room for them, or they think that they need to charge less than what they could, what they should start at, is what I see all the time. The plight of so many brilliant women is not standing in their value because they've been so used to and conditioned by the workplace that they have, the 2 to 3% or 4% increase that they've gotten for the last 20 plus years in their work, and that occasional bonus that you get, that they don't recognize that in your own business, you can bonus yourself whenever you want to. And I'm not saying any of this, I hope you guys hear my heart. I'm not saying any of this to hype you. I'm telling you it's the truth. When I look at the decision making of brilliant women and watch at times them making, instead of a powerful choice for themselves, like standing on the obvious, standing on the fact that you have the talent and the skills, being optional around the success you want, being optional around standing in your value, charging what you're worth, because it's like, well, where did this come from? Why would you, looking at your track record of success and your brilliance, right, which is known not from an ego or bravado place, just look at what people want from you. Look at the life that you've built. Look at the people you've impacted in your workplace, over the last 20, 30 years. What about that would make you think you need to charge low fees or beta test what you're doing or not stand in your value or that it won't work? What about that would make you not be able to quickly invest in yourself? When I think about women and how adverse they are around, not all women, but many women who are smart and accomplished around investing in themselves, and how that for them, they've got to think about it. They got to think about it. They got to think about it. And you're your number one investment. And you have a muscle of investment because you invest in every single person in your world, in your life, except for yourself. That's the only time that you have to go deep in your thought level. Y'all know I'm breaking this down for you. In your thought level around, what do you deserve? The question is, when does the version of what you want to create not fit the thought process of where you've come from, and when they don't fit? And sometimes when we don't recognize that I'm still operating from this old pattern, like this person is just getting started, or this person has to prove to my boss that I'm great, or this person that didn't have the experience. You have all of those things now. In this season, it's being able to step into the evidence, the proof of who you've been with your habits. And what does it look like when we change that belief? And I'm going to tell you what it looks like in terms of me having worked with so many incredible women who have gotten past that. These women can say yes to themselves and figure it out. They don't need all of the answers. These women are not hemming and hawing around changing their own lives. These women aren't optional. It doesn't take them 1 day, 2 days, 5 days to make a decision with something that can really affect and create change in their life and their world. When we think about how successful people operate, it's habits. It's the habits. It's the way that they think about themselves, and it's their habit stacking that ultimately changes what shows up in their life and their world. If you are used to someone saying, I need this in order for you to do that, that's from work, right? You're used to people telling you what you have to do in order for you to accomplish it, right? Because that's how work works. When you're in your own company, you're the CEO, you're the driver of the success that you want. And there isn't anyone else saying you need to do this. And when women become not optional about their success, but intentional around it, you show up like that. Your decisions are aligned. I say this all the time. Listen, how do we lead others if we can't lead ourselves? The way you show up for yourself is the way your clients are going to show up for you. Okay. When you show up scared, guess what? People are going to be scared to work with you. When you show up unafraid and knowing that what you bring to the table can really impact and create change, you're going to have people who are going to step into a version of working with you because they see your confidence. What do people ultimately buy? Right? They buy certainty. If I were working with women, one of the things I'm really great at, in addition to helping people to package what they do and sell it for high value, is helping my women be able to see the giant that is inside of them that maybe they are afraid of. You know what I mean? Maybe they've ignored. I call her all the way out. And I call her out because what I recognize is that there is another version of you, right, that is begging you to come forward. And sure, you might be scared, but it's not serving anybody for you to play a smaller game or those old models that don't serve your highest good or the thing that you've outgrown for you to stay right there. It's your decision making. Look at what your habits are. Look at are you optional about what fuels you, what grows you? Or are you decisive about those things? Do you choose powerfully for yourself at work? Would you dream of, if you had something to do for work on a Monday or, a Tuesday or Wednesday, or whatever it is, would you dream of it being optional that you show up for those things? Or would you be intentional around those things and clear around those things? A lot of times when women are entrepreneurs and in their own business, they're not used to the decision making to be that CEO for themselves, to be that woman that says, I'm the force that creates and affects the change. I'm the person that can change my freaking life. And you are. And I want you to know that it all starts with having a new version of yourself, seeing that version in your mind's eye, deciding that the old habits that have not gotten you where you want to be, that you have to let those go, and you have to step into a higher and taller version of yourself that is in alignment with where you want to be. And when you do that, you'll see that money is no longer a concern, that making money is easy and effortless. It's not a hard thing, that selling at your highest and your tallest is so much easier to serve the best folks in that way versus then selling something small to individuals who don't fully value the impact or your expertise or your knowledge. I promise you on this, I have over the years worked with hundreds of people, literally thousands have bought my programs, but hundreds of women, about 900 some women I've had the opportunity to personally work with. And my best clients have been my highest investors. My best clients are the ones that say, yes, they figure it out. My best clients have always been the ones that are like, here's my credit card. Like right now, I'm ready, because they want the change. And not that my worst clients didn't do that. They were just hesitant people because they were hesitant inside of themselves. Ask yourself, right? Like the version of you that's ready. How do you know she's ready? How does your decision making align with that? I say it because I post all the time opportunities for you guys to move forward, say yes, figure it out, whatever it is. And there are people all the time who DM and say, me, I'm ready, or me, I want to know more, or, and they just show up differently. And then there are people like, I think I saw that. It's like, okay, if you like it, I love it. Okay. But the point is, if you want to change your life, you have to change your choices. You have to change how you decide. You have to change your level of decisiveness. You have to change your habits. And a lot of times we are so used to mediocre habits, and we can't understand how in front of us we're dealing with a mediocre life. Not that you don't love your life, not that you're not grateful for it, but a mediocre life. When you know that there's more for you, you know that God's planted seeds inside of you of greatness, and if you really believe like there were seeds of greatness, there's no need for mediocrity in that at all. I hope that there's something that I said, okay, that's on my heart, that really supports you guys in being able to dig deeper for yourself, right? And whether or not you decide to this month to book a consult with me to, figure out your thing, or, whether or not you decide that you want to do, a VIP day, half VIP day, or private consult, listen, figure out what you need and be the kind of person that keeps your promises to yourself the first time, right? If you want to change your life, you want your life to be unrecognizable, it's not what you wish for. It's not what you hope for. It's what you choose and you decide, and that you openly move in the direction of the change you want consistently over time. That's how we change our lives. You don't change your life from wishing. You don't change your life from shooting shots. Sometimes you're on, sometimes you're off. You change your life from consistency and persistency, being deliberate. You change your life by changing your beliefs about yourself and around what you value. And here's the last thing I'm going to say about this, and I relate it to food. It's like wanting to be healthy, right? And making a decision that what you consume is important. When you make that decision, then what you purchase when you go to the grocery store, where you purchase what you purchase is important. You're probably looking at the back of a wrappers. I'm so guilty of this, y'all. You don't even want to know my stories about bread, right? Like I'll flip it over and it's 30 things in here. I'm gonna make my own bread, right? But when you decide that you want to be healthier, There are deliberate decisions that you make. So I'm not going to talk about this from the perspective of investing in yourself, because it's the same thing. Food investment is investment, but they're based on decisions that are active and proactive. And they're not based on reactive. Oh man, I bought that bread. I shouldn't have bought that bread. I shouldn't have eaten that bread. No, people who want to change, they change their choices. They change what they're investing in. They change how they're investing. For me, when I think about, like, I'll go back to the bread thing. When I think about bread, and it's like 30 ingredients in a loaf of bread, right? So I say, hey, I want change. I don't want to eat that. I can't eat that. So I'd rather take 10 or 15 minutes, invest 10 or 15 minutes of my day, right? Once every 2-3 weeks, and make my own loaf of bread. Why? Because I'm investing in myself. And I know that I have to be deliberate about that, my choices. The same is true in my business, in any area of your life that you want to change. And the challenge is that people want a new version of themselves, but they want to hold on to the old version of their decision making, and they can't understand why you're in the same place year after year, month after month. It is because of the choices that you're making, or the choices that you're not making. I hope this supports you in some way. You know I love you. I am never really just trying to just be tough to be tough. I just want you to win. And I know for a fact that the women here, y'all are incredible, and I want you to win. And I want you to choose yourself and change how you show up for yourself. You are your number one investment. You are. You're your number one investment. And if you don't care about you, I can tell you, you're the first person that cares the most about you outside of God. Okay? You got to care about yourself like that. And if I can support you in any way, not to motivate you, because I'm not interested in doing that, but to be the mirror of truth, to support you in your journey, to fully monetize your life, to understand that every choice in your world, I don't care if something's good happening in your world or something bad is happening in your world. When you change your monetary life, okay, you can choose powerfully for yourself in completely different ways. And it doesn't mean that you won't have problems, but you'll solve them in a bigger and higher way. And in the same token, your family benefits from your success. Your family benefits from your happiness. Your family benefits from your growth. And this idea of needing permission before you can move forward with anything is a belief, and it is a habit that is keeping so many women stuck. And it's this belief of, I gotta ask anybody, right? Whoever, before I can move forward. No, you need to ask yourself, what do you need to do in order for you to create change in your life? And I promise you, if you go to your husband, your partner, and you say, I have decided I have to change my life, and this is what I'm going to do it. That person that supports and loves you is going to absolutely support and love you 100% through whatever it is that you want to do, because you come with a certainty. When you come with doubt, you bring doubt. When you come with certainty and clarity, and you're decisive in your action, you're not looking for someone to say what you should do. All right. I love you. I hope this supports you, and I'll talk to you